The road to a Virginia state title runs through Leesburg this Friday evening as the Tuscarora Huskies do battle with the Loudoun Valley Vikings. Welcome in, folks. I'm Aiden Butler, joined along, as always, by Ronan Haycoop and Sean Pambukian. Fellas, Dulles District on the line tonight.
Exactly, Aiden. It's a little bit of deja vu from last year. It was just last year that these two teams faced off in the same exact setting at the same venue. Tuscarora won that game as well. And if you want to even look a little bit farther into the near future, the same team beat these same Vikings in the regional championship here at Tuscarora. So these teams, a lot of animosity between the two sides, that's for sure. Aiden, played each other a lot in the playoffs and the regular season, being in the same district, obviously. Tuscarora winning the battle by a landslide. The Vikings hoping for an upset today.
As we get set to go here from Tuscarora Softball Park in Leesburg, Virginia, Lindsey Mullins was a game-time decision as to whether or not she would play today, nursing an injury coming off of a recent win over the Loudoun County Captains. But she seems good to go today. Leading off for the Vikings, number 27, Sloan Taylor, the third baseman. "73 degrees and scattered clouds." It is a pitch-perfect day, as before we get to the first pitch, time is called.
They wouldn't like that in the show nowadays, Aiden.
Mullen, this is where the fun begins, lets it fly, and a cut and a miss to start the day.
And that's just what Mullen does so well, Aiden. Just overpowers batters, especially at the first 3 innings. When these girls have no idea what's coming at them, they see that mid-60-mile-an-hour fastball and don't know what to do.
The 0-1 delivery is tapped up into the right for a foul ball. Be called strike 2, an 0-2 count. Tuscarora 20-2 on the season, undefeated in district play. They've won their last 11 contests. They're led by head coach Bridget Kemp. The Loudoun Valley Vikings, they're 16-6 on the season, 14-8 in district play, winners of their last 5, led by head coach Elias Schumacher. As hack and a miss, 3 pitches, 3 strikes, down quickly goes Tanner, and there's already 1 out away.
And even to add on to that, in 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and 3 swings. Mullen puts it right down the middle on you, dares you to hit the ball. And obviously, for Sloan Tanner, she couldn't manage to live up to the task.
Next up, batting right-handed, Maddie Green, the shortstop, number 7. Mullen's going to let it go again, and how do you like that? 4 swings, 4 misses. Technically speaking, 1 was the foul ball, but I think it still works. Tuscarora adorned gray and blue pinstripe, blue lettering and numerals. The Vikings, white pants, green jerseys, white lettering and numerals. As another one that's tapped up foul up and to the right. 5 pitches and 5 strikes in the early going for Lindsey Mullen.
And Mullen just 18 strikeouts away now with that last one. Came into this game with 19 to go to reach that 600 number, that coveted benchmark in high school softball.
Vikings coming off an 8-5 victory over Broad Run. Sorry, Sean, didn't mean to cut you off. Get to it in a moment, as wouldn't you know it, a pitch that isn't a strike. That one well up and away.
And back to what you just said, Ronan, that is without her freshman season at pitcher. So 600 strikeouts in 3 years is impressive in itself.
A 1-2 delivery that's going to be tapped up behind the backstop and foul. Will stay a 1-2 count with 1 out down for Maddie Green. Tuscarora alluded to it a few minutes ago. Their most recent victory coming against crosstown rival Loudoun County, a 2-1 victory for the Huskies. 1-2. Had a little off-speed action, but too low, eats the dirt, and it's a 2-2 count. Two-two count for Green. 1 out down. Mullen wind up swing, ricocheted off the face mask of it. Looked like the catcher Mackenzie Freeze. So Green doing a good lot, doing well to stay alive in the at bat here.
And that's the one thing they can look for early is the Vikings. Just try to lengthen these at bats, trying to tire out Mullen at the mound, and hope that they could get something going here early.
2-2 pitch. That one's going to be popped up, and it looks like it's going to be over the fence and foul. Green battling here. Take this opportunity to take you around the rest of the Tuscarora infield. Mary Hackman occupies first, Lily Wools at second, Olivia Bruns at third, and Grace Petruzzi, the shortstop. 2-2 count. Hack and a miss. Two batters face 2 strikeouts for Lindsey Mullen. She won that battle there. Nifty being told that was a screwball pitch by Mullen.
Yeah, and Mullen just adds to the arsenal every year we watch her, Aiden. We could see between her sophomore and her junior season, you saw the addition of that changeup and how it just froze batters in that junior year campaign, which got him all the way to a state championship.
Next up, Lexi Schaff, the catcher, and number 11 for the Vikings, as a pitch up and away. Mullins taps her chest, says that one's on me. As let's meet the Tuscarora outfield. Hannah Schmidl in left field, Lily Shivert in center, and Audrey Stell at right. Rare instance, a Viking has been ahead of the count in the early going. 1-0, and it's a 1-1 after that wave and a miss. That can be a lethal pitch for anyone that has a hold of it in softball, that riser. Mullen kicks, fires, down the pipe, called strike 2. A 1-2 count for Lexi Schaff. Mullen already 2 strikeouts to her name in the early going. One, two out ball on the way. Got the inside of the frame. Lindsey Mullen solo retires the side. As we head to the middle of the first, 3 up, 3 down, all strikeouts for the Vikings early on. We head to the middle of the first. Still scoreless here between the Huskies and the Vikings. As we head to the home side of the inning for the first time today, Lily Wools, the second baseman, number 15 to lead off for the Huskies.
Now batting for your Huskies, number 15, Lily Wools.
And in the circle for the Vikings, Maya Valenti, a freshman, as her first pitch. The lefty fires away, and it's off the plate, away from Wools for ball number 1 and a 1-0 count. One nothing count in the early going for Wolves. 1-0. Going to be a 2-0 as Valenti drops that one just below the bottom shelf of the zone. Head coach Mike Elias has to be happy with where the Vikings are coming into this part of the season. Second in the Dulles District, nipping at the heels of the Huskies, as that one sent right back up the gut by Wolves. And just like that, the Huskies with a leadoff single.
And she just does that so well, Aiden. The top half of the Tuscarora order has the ability to both put it out of the park and hit at a very high rate, Aiden. Wolves, a Western Illinois commit, 544 on the year batting average. Nope, not OBP, not OPS, batting average.
Next lady up, batting left-handed, Mary Hackman, the first baseman, number 8, takes the first offering for strike 1. On the breaking ball delivery from Valenti, Huskies now have a base runner in position with Wolves at first. Valenti kicks, fires. That one going to be lofted into shallow left field, but foul all the way. Good for strike 2. Tuscarora won both regular season meetings against the Vikings. First when they took it to Loudoun Valley, a 4-0 victory, and then when they came to Leesburg, 11-1. Same pitch, same hit, near same result. Lofted just slightly further left, foul. That one crashes up against the fence, staying alive in the 0-2.
Well, Aiden, in my few years watching this team, I can't recall a time that the Tuscarora Huskies faced a lefty pitcher of this quality. So it's going to be interesting to see how that Tuscarora lineup is going to respond to Valenti.
Let's see how the lefty fares against her. Third straight one that's tapped foul. This one straight up into the left. Hackman at the very least staying alive here in this, her first plate appearance of the evening. No matter the result here, the Huskies, they're regional bound, having locked up the 1 seed as that one's lofted straight away to center. And the center fielder can't make it. Wolves rounding second. She's bound for third, and she'll be told to hold up there. No, she got waved around for a second, but taps it back on third. And a double for Mary Hackman. As center fielder Kayla Dunkerley, couldn't make the play.
Well, you could see Dunkerley was all the way off to that left side, favoring the left center, and Hackman just pulled it right up the middle. It was a tough play for Dunkerley to make. Cross body, looked like she got her glove to it, but unable to corral it.
Call it a double. Potentially will go down as an E8. As Lily Shivert shows bunt. That pitch gets the down and away corner of the zone for strike 1, an 0-1 count, but the Huskies in business nonetheless. Lily Wolves at third and Hackman at second, both runners in scoring position. Not long leadoffs for either team as that one is swallowed by the dirt, makes it a 1-1 count for Shivert.
And Shivert, the hero of the last year's playoff run, her and her sister Katie Shivert, back-to-back home runs at the bottom of the 6th inning to send the Tuscarora Huskies into the state tournament.
You know, Ronan, it's funny. Don't really remember too many things from when I broadcast, and that's one thing I could remember almost perfectly just because of how crazy it was.
Orange County, bottom of the 6th inning.
That's the third pitch Shivert face. Nicks the far edge of the plate for strike 2. The 1-2 delivery, that one's well off the plate. And a nice grab by the catcher, Lexi Schaff. Otherwise, Lily Wolves may be coming home. Take this opportunity to introduce you to the rest of the Vikings infield. It's Cora Eli at first, Anna Ramis at second, and Sloan Taylor at third, and Maddie Green is the shortstop. 2-2 count, no outs, 2 runners on for the Huskies. As the riser rises too high, count is full. Pardon me, that's Cora Elliott at first base. Payoff pitch on the full count. That one taps the bottom of the bat and backwards foul. Shivert fights on in the early going. A reminder, Wolves at third, Hackman at second. It's a still one in Leesburg today. Low 70s, but no wind. Near perfect conditions for a game as that one's going to be skied, going to die right on the cusp of the outfield. Wolves checks up and nifty play. Dunkerley maybe making up for the drop ball earlier that allowed Hackman to get to second as a strong throw back into the infield keeps Wolves at third.
And for Lillian Shiver, you just got to think she missed her pitch there. In full count, you get a fastball up the middle. You got to be able to convert that for a hitter of her caliber.
The right fielder, batting right-handed, Audrey Stellon now shows bunt. You can see the third baseman, Sloan Taylor, kind of cheating up, anticipating some small ball that still showed for a split second. So the pitch, that one across the plate, but down and away, 2-0 count. Go ahead and meet the rest of the Vikings defense in left field. It's Kendall Cameron at center field, Kayla Dunkerley, and in right field, Grace Williams. 2-0 count. Cuts back into the zone, strike one. Two balls, one strike, one out. They're going to say that one carved up the play last second. Makes it a 2-2 count for Stell.
Stell's just got to protect the plate on this one, Aiden.
Lindy kicks, fires. That one's going to be poked into left field at the doorstep of the infield. Throw home is in time. Bit of a risk-reward sequence for the Huskies as that draws out two. That ball came to a rest right at the foot of the outfield. And just expert defense there by the Vikings.
Yes, I don't love that call, Aiden, sending Wolves home here, because obviously you're going to bring up probably your best hitter in Lindsey Mullen, and obviously got the intentional walk here, so now the bases are loaded for the Tuscarora Huskies. You got to think, you're going to give up a run on an intentional walk? Probably not. So you put your best hitter in a situation to give you some extra runs.
Hackman takes Wool's place at third. While Stell admits the chaos, makes her way to second. So originally, Lindsey Mullen was slated for the 5 spot in the lineup. Instead, it will be Grace Petruzzi.
Intentional walk, Aiden.
Only intentionally walk Mullen. I didn't catch that. I got a wall in my face. So base is now loaded for the Huskies. Is that ball down and away? Anna Petruzzi, the pinch runner for Lindsey Mullen. Bases loaded with 2 outs down and a 1-0 count for Grace Petruzzi, the shortstop. And that one nicks her on the shoulder, and that's one way to bring across the first run, a bases loaded hit by pitch.
And for the Loudoun Valley Vikings, that's the last thing you want to do is you put yourself in a jam. You got 2 outs. You have a chance against the second half of this Tuscarora lineup. You need to just know to calm down, show some composure in that pitching circle, and hopefully come away with that. At least make your defense work for it. Just giving up the hit by pitch is just such a momentum killer, Aiden.
As Hannah Schmidl up next for the Huskies, the left fielder number 7, as Mike Elias, the head coach of the Vikings, that will spur a meeting in the circle. So Grace Petruzzi moves into first. Anna Petruzzi sits at second. A reminder, in place of Lindsey Mullen, and Audrey Stell moves into third.
And this is exactly where you want the Vikings if you're the Tuscarora Huskies. Bottom of the first inning, bases loaded with a run in. Just putting that pressure on early.
Valenti trying to get out of a bases-loaded jam as the Vikings now trail 1-0 early on as that ball on a wire inside, 1-0 count. Schmidl will let that one be down and away. Ball 2 and a 2-0 count with 2 outs down.
Yeah, Schmidl showing good discipline, and then you've just watched a hit by pitch ball, and Valenti's been all over and out of the zone today. Just let her try to work a walk, something of that nature. Protect the plate, obviously, but the way Valenti's been pitching, I don't hate the idea of letting a couple go past you.
As that most recent pitch, Schmidl slaps foul off to the right. Faces the 2-1 count. Valenti will deal. Throw down to first is not in time. Heads up play by Shop to potentially get the cheeky third out there, but it's a hitter's count, 3-1 for Hannah Schmidl. Big pitch up and coming for Valenti. Potentially make it a 2-0 ball game. Instead, Schmidl will swing at it and lops it foul. Makes it a full count.
Just caught that one on the near side of the bat, rather, Aiden. And just a little late. Schmidl liked the pitch, unable to produce a result, however.
Valenti, payoff pitch as that one's going to be lofted, and the play is made in the infield by Cora Ellie. And Valenti works the Vikings out of a bases-loaded jam. Only surrender 1 run on the bases-loaded hit by pitch. Huskies lead at 1-0 in the early going after the full first inning. as we welcome you back in. Top of the second inning. Kayla Dunkerley at the dish. First pitch, swing and a miss. It was 3 up, 3 down for the Vikings to start the day in the top of the first. All 3 strikeouts. 0-1 count in the early going for Dunkerley. 2 pitches, 2 swings, 2 misses. Mullen potentially already feeling her 4th strikeout of this early evening. Wind up, pitch, fastball, wave and a miss. 3 pitches, 3 strikes again.
And with Mullen even coming off that shoulder injury from the game against County, which was only a few days ago, she's still back to her normal self.
And something Ronan alluded to back in the first, all 3 swinging.
Exactly. It's just she puts it right at you. She's not trying to get you to swing on a pitch outside the zone. She's trying to get you to swing on a pitch or push it right past you.
As the first pitch to Maya Valenti tapped back into the fence. Pitcher on pitcher violence now. Valenti, the left-handed hitter. Notice her bat using a Louisville slugger against the Louisville commit. 0-1 count is an 0-2 in the bucket. Valenti trying to spark something for the Vikings as they trail 1-0 in the top of the second. Pops that one up and over the press box. Foul, no doubt about it. Actually collided with the net and comes back into play. Will stay an 0-2 count.
And Mullen doing great work through these first 2 innings almost, Aiden. Only 15 strikeouts away. She's through 4. So if she continues on this trajectory, she'll have 27 strikeouts at the end of it. So that would put her over that 600 margin. Obviously, if you're a Viking, you'd expect her to start slowing down here sometime. But
5th pitch of the at-bat is up and away from Valenti. A 1-2 count. Mullen kicks, delivers, hack and a miss. Strikeout number 5 for Mullen. Again, a game-time decision as she was nursing an injury coming off that County game. She looks just fine to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think you summed it up pretty well, Aiden. Lindsey Mullen doing what Lindsey Mullen does, and that's throw the ball hard, get strikeouts. And I would just love to be a shortstop with Lindsey Mullen at the plate.
As a drop ball on for Mullen, it's tapped up into the right for strike 1. An 0-1 count for the designated player, Abby Stern, number 16 for the Vikings, batted right-handed. Mullen with the potential to retire the side again. She winds up and fires. That one carves the plate like a Thanksgiving turkey. It's strike 2.
Thinking about Thanksgiving already, Aiden?
I haven't eaten yet today. I'm hungry.
I'm always thinking about Thanksgiving.
0-2 count to Stern. Wave and a miss. Mullen does it again. She retires the side single-handedly. 3 up, 3 down. 6 strikeouts through 2 innings for Lindsey Mullen.
And Aiden, I'd hate to say that I'm surprised because I'm not. You just come into these games and Lindsey Mullen just takes it over. And for the Vikings, they just have to figure out a way to adjust how to get on top of that fastball and make her work for some of these at-bats. You're giving up 3, 4 pitch at-bats every single time. And you just got to start to time up this contact, and you got to find a way. And the Vikings so far have not.
No hits, no runs, no errors, no one left on in the top of the second. Huskies take their 1-0 lead to the middle of the second.
For the Huskies, number
Bottom of the second about to get underway here from Tuscarora High School. Olivia Bruns to start the proceedings. Playing third baseman for Tuscarora today. Valenti wheels and deals. That one well off the plate, ball one.
And very similar to the Tuscarora baseball team in that we had the pleasure of broadcasting on Wednesday. This Tuscarora lineup is very similar. That 8 and 9 slot is Olivia Bruns and Mackenzie Fries that do a great job of getting on base. Obviously just jinxed Bruns right there, Aiden, but that's when the big innings happen for the Tuscarora Huskies, is when those 8-9 hitters can get on and bring up girls like Lily Woles, Mary Hackman to drive runs in.
As Bruns tapped one, rolled it right to the shortstop, Maddie Green. Easy delivery to Ellie at first for the 6-3 punch out. So one out down. Next up, Mackenzie Fries, the catcher for Tuscarora, number 1 in blue and gray. A backdoor curve from Valenti gets strike one. She's gone to that a couple times today. Oh, 1 count for Fries. Said that one's going to be tapped off foul, just off the end of the bat, and an 0-2 count to the right.
Well, Aiden, I forgot to score the Vikings batters for the first 2 innings, and it wasn't really that hard to do.
No need to get disrespectful.
0-2 count, and Fries reaches on that one. First K of the day for Maya Valenti. And it kind of looked like you kind of see all 3 pitches kind of ended up in the same spot. So that kind of led Fries to thinking she could have gotten something there and potentially down the first base line. But instead, 2 outs down as we head back to the top of the Tuscarora order. Lily Woles, 1 for 1 today. Led off the day with a single. That first pitch doesn't even reach the plate. Swallowed by the dirt, and a 1-0 count for Lily Woles. As you mentioned earlier, .544 batting average. Breaking ball well off the plate, and ahead in the count is Woles 2-0.
Yeah, and not just that, Aiden, is her extra bases is fantastic. 30 RBIs, 10 doubles, and 6 home runs through the year for Lily Woles.
2-0 count. That one's going to be slapped towards third, and it's juggled, and Woles will beat out. No throw coming.
And that was hard hit into the hot corner. No wonder why they call it that, Aiden. It's a tough play for Sloan Tanner to make. Good job just getting in front of it, sacrificing the body, and preventing giving up an extra base.
Now batting for the Huskies, playing first base, it's Mary Hackman.
As Tanner juggled it, Green came in to keep it from going any further, but was already made it to first. Mary Hackman back up, reached on, and EA lopped in one to center field straight towards Dunkerley that she couldn't corral on a diving grab, as first pitch this at-bat is fouled off for an 0-1 count.
And in 30 hits this year, Aiden, for Mary Hackman, 15 of those have been extra bases. 13 doubles and 2 triples.
It's something of a riser from Valenti, gets the zone. And an 0-2 count now for Hackman. Valenti a chance to get out of the inning. Instead, that one slapped up into the fence, up into the left. So Hackman stays alive with an 0-2. 2 outs down. Keep in mind, Tuscarora, they had the bases loaded last inning, but a defiant standby Valenti has kept this only a 1-run affair. The 0-2 delivery just off the plate for ball number 1.
That's a great eye for Mary Hackman there, Aiden. I honestly thought, from my vantage point on, I thought that was going to be a strikeout and retired inning for Valenti, but fortunately for number 8 in gray, it was not.
The lefty-on-lefty matchup continues as that one just got enough contact to constitute a foul ball. So, again, Hackman doing what she did her last at-bat, protecting the plate.
Exactly. You got to fight through these at-bats, and especially for the Loudoun Valley Vikings, the bullpen is not the best in the district. That is one of their weak points of this team. So if you can fight through these at-bats, tire out and fatigue Valenti at the pitching circle, you could definitely start to get stuff going later into this ball game.
As that riser rose a little too high, Schaff keeps it in the glove. Counts now 2-2 with 2 outs. Woles still a runner on at first. And another one tapped foul by Hackman. Whether she goes down or not, at the very least, she's making Valenti work for it. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs in the second inning. Trying to potentially add to a slim 1-0 Tuscarora advantage. As that one's going to be tapped and into the waiting glove of Sloan Tanner, makes amends for that faux pas earlier, and the Huskies are sat down. They leave Lily Wolves stranded, still 1-0 after a full 2 innings here from Leesburg, Virginia.
Leading off the top of the third inning for the Vikings, number 3, Cora Ely.
And welcome back as we find ourselves in the top of the third. Leading things off, Cora Ely, the first baseman, number 2 for the Vikings, will have her first at-bat of the day. Meanwhile, she's going to be facing an already red-hot Lindsey Mullen. 6 outs through the first 2 innings for the Vikings, all 6 strikeouts. Mullen kicks, fires, strike 1.
I think after that first pitch, Aiden, she's showing no signs of slowing down quite yet.
Early 0-1 hole for Ely. Delivery from Mullen, a fastball waved and missed. Had a slight rise to it as well, an 0-2 count. Mullen kicks, fires, swing and a miss. Reached on it, did Ely. How about 7 strikeouts in the early going for Mullen?
And that last pitch, Aiden, the movement, the right to left on that last one just caught Ely swinging at a pitch well outside the zone. Lindsey Mullen pulling everything out of the bag of tricks this afternoon.
As next up, number 10, Grace Williams, the right fielder for the Vikings. Mullen kicks, fires, just off the plate, ball 1. A 1-0 count for number 1-0 with 1 out down. Mullen unleashes it. Off speeder, swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. For Grace Williams and partner, you talked about it earlier, and we're really starting to see it, just the catalog of pitches that Mullen can muster.
Exactly. It's just an incredible deep bag Lindsey Mullen has. Use a basketball reference there. I don't think I could hit one, personally.
Third pitch of the at-bat, down and in for ball 2. 2-1 count for Williams. And it's a 2-2, cut and a miss. And look at it this way, anytime contact has been made, it's gone foul. 2-2 offering from Mullen, swing and a miss, strikeout number 8. And another one goes down swinging. The 9-spot hitter for the Vikings, number 12, Anna Ramos, the second baseman. Mullen lays down a bunt, swirling, and they're going to call it foul. That one was spinning like a top until it coasted out foul down the left field line.
And you could just see there, Olivia Bruns from third base was there, but Anna Ramos showing off those wheels.
It's Mike Elias coming out to have a brief discussion with Ramos. Be an 0-1 count for Ramos. That might be one of the few ways anyone does make contact for the Vikings is playing some small ball, but I don't know about how good Mullen is. It's not like she has a bad supporting cast. This Tuscarora defense can get after you too as lays down a bunt again. Mullen, the throw to first in time. The side retired yet again. Mullen says, if I can't get the strikeout, I'll still be part of this putout. A 1-3 punch out of Anna Ramos. 9 up, 9 down for the Huskies on defense. We welcome you back in for the bottom of the third. Tuscarora looking to add to their 1-0 advantage as Lillian Shivert, the Delaware State commit and center fielder, will have the honor of leading off. Valenti still in the circle for the Vikings in Why Not? As that one rolls across the sand for a 1-0 count. And Shivert's, you don't want to let her on base as that one nicks the far edge for strike one.
Yeah, Lillian Shivert, I think, wanted for grand larceny at probably every ballpark in this county, Aiden.
Valenti kicks, fires. Same pitch, different result. Got away from her that time. Counts 2-1.
So not only is it hard to keep Lily Shivert off the base with, average of .394, but she also had the school record last year for most steals in the school's history, and also this season has 17 steals, and the team's total is 61. So you just have to keep her off the base.
Fourth pitch as Shivert slaps that one. A chopper towards short. Throw to first is there. And the early out is brought about on a 6-3 punch out.
Yeah, and Lillian Shivert just, again, not able to get on base in these first two, but you know Lily's going to stay in it and move on, and especially with the way the Tuscarora Huskies are getting through lineups, Aiden, I wouldn't expect that we get through this Tuscarora order a fourth, maybe even a fifth time by the end of this game.
As Valenti looked like she was trying to dial up a curveball, lands away from Audrey Stell. 1-0 count. Instead, she'll poke this one towards second. Easy as you like. A 4-3 punch out. Ramos teaming up with Ellie on that one.
And Valenti's starting to find her zone, Aiden, here at the bottom of this third inning. And you could see it, the Tuscarora Huskies swinging a lot more, making contact a lot more as well, but making the defense work for it. And thus far, the infield of Ramos and Green doing just what they need.
As Lindsey Mullen to the plate for her first time today. Was intentionally walked her last at bat as another curveball that's up and away.
There's speculation. We're going to see if Lindsey Mullen was allowed to hit at all today. Not by our own coach, but by Elias of the Vikings, obviously.
1-0 is slapped towards second yet again, mishandled, but the throw is still made. Control copy, control paste from the last sequence, bobbled by Ramis for a second. But the Huskies go down in order for the first time today, all ground outs, and that will take us to the fourth inning. No runs, no hits, no one left stranded after a full 3. Still 1-0 Tuscarora. As we're back to it in the top of the fourth. Leading off as she did in the first, Sloan Taylor, the third baseman. And the perpetrator always returns to the scene of the crime, Lindsey Mullen, responsible for all 9 outs to this point. As that one slapped off foul down into the right. An 0-1 count for Tanner, who is 0 for 1 today, struck out to start the day.
And Aiden, I'm surprised we don't have an outfielder picking dandelions out here at Tuscarora High School. They haven't had to do any work this evening.
0-1 count for Tanner. As the riser from Mullen rises too high. 1-1 count. Mullen kicks, wheels, deals, curved. No, a bit of a drop ball that's not called. They're going to call it ball 2, a 2-1 count.
And Lindsey Mullen tricked everybody in the ballpark, including the umpire. That was a strike, Aiden, and I'll put that on anything I hold dear.
2-1 count for Tanner. A frozen rope inside at the knees of Tanner, and for a rare occasion today, it's a hitter's count for a Vikings batter. 3-1. Haven't had a base runner yet today, have the Vikings. Tanner shows bunt. Mullen pitches anyway, called strike 2.
And you could even see Sloan Tanner wasn't going to swing on that one, was shaking like she was going to show bunt, trying to get in the head of Lindsey Mullen, and Mullen obviously didn't take too kindly to it.
Cutting pitch, payoff sequence on the full count. It's there! Called strike 3. Strikeout number 9 for Lindsey Mullen.
And that's another thing, something that Ronan just brought up, is not only is Lindsey Mullen just an amazing player, her mentality, she never gets shaken off her game. And that's something I've noticed at all 3 of my years here broadcasting these softball games. I've just never seen her off.
It's just about to allude to a way. It was a great effort by Mullen to battle back in that sequence. Same pitch that got the last one, and there it is again, strike 1.
And even down the third baseline is Coach Elias of the Vikings. You could even see Sloan Tanner as return to the dugout. You could read his lips from up here. It's okay, was his take on that last at bat.
As that one is skied, potentially playable. Nope. That one crashes on the
roof.
On the press box here. Ronan, I'm still remembered of the time we went on the road to, I believe it was
Fauquier County. Hey.
Someone's poor windshield. 0-2 count. That one's going to be tapped up to the right and foul.
That was a fun game, Aiden.
It was extra innings.
Extra innings regional championship broadcast from the for the batting cages down the left field line.
You get the job done any way you can, and by golly, did the Huskies do it that day. 0-2 count to Maddie Green. riser up out of the zone for ball one. One-two count, one out down, no runners on. Still a 1-0 Tuscarora lead as that one's belted foul all the way, deep into the left.
And there it was, and that's the first real solid contact we've seen made on a pitch from Lindsey Mullen. And I was saying, as these Vikings get up into the order, Mullen's going to have to go deeper into that bag of tricks and move away. So they're going to start to time up that fastball late in the game.
You can see, as everyone's at least seen what Mullen has to offer once. Breaking ball that's gloved it short, easy as you like. Throw to first is there. Petruzzi to Hackman. And only the second time today an out hasn't been a K for Mullen.
And just a great play there by Grace Petruzzi at shortstop. Routine play, but obviously has big shoes to fill at that shortstop position. The Huskies lost Katie Shivert, the older sister of Lillian Shivert, to the Delaware Blue Hens, where she continues her academic and athletic career and even made a CAA all-rookie team this season. Had a great year over in Delaware.
Two-seam fastball waved and missed by Schaff. Number 11 also 0 for 1 today. Faces an 0-1 count with 2 outs down. Mullen wheels, deals. Ooh, it was close, but they're going to call that ball one. One ball, one strike, 2 outs for Schaff. Mullen kicks, fires, cut, miss. What more can you say?
I mean, I'm kind of just sitting here, and I've run out of things to say. I mean, it's just watching the same at-bats over and over again, and nobody's found an answer.
1 ball, 2 strikes. You know the rest of the ACC, teams like Florida State, teams like Virginia Tech, they're looking at Lindsey Mullen. They're saying, uh-oh, as that one's tapped up into the fence. Foul, a 1 ball, 2 strikes.
And especially in a sport that's probably the fastest growing women's sport in the country. The College World Series, or excuse me, College Softball World Series brings in so much viewership, and you just got to think the way the ACC's been playing in the last 2 years, you're going to see a lot of those teams start to get into that tournament.
Breaking ball well off the plate, make it a 2-2 count for Schaff. There have already been some great games, as you talk about in the college softball playoffs. UCLA, a 2 seed, going down as early as they did, as that one's popped up and over the fence. Will stay a 2-2 count.
And Florida State, obviously, number 3 in the country, and Duke, 9th, Clemson, 10th. The ACC has been really tough this year, in Louisville just at that number 24 spot now in the most recent ranking. So you got to think, playing some ACC softball is certainly the spot you want to be at as a collegiate athlete.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, foul tip. Again, credit to Schaff staying alive at the very least. Whether or not she goes down here, Vikings maybe trying to drive up Mullen's pitch count as the night wears on. We're not even an hour through this one yet. And the top half of the 4th ends, we're already halfway there. Mullen lets it fly. Breaking ball off the plate. And Schaff's defended the play well this at-bat. Fighting for the full count. Can the Vikings get a base runner on, or will Mullen shut down the party yet again? Number 18 in blue and gray lets it go off the plate, and it had to happen sooner or later. The first time today a Viking hitter has touched base. A 2-out walk by Lexi Schaff. Prior to that moment, it had been 11 straight hitters retired.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to say it, but the perfect game was there, Aiden. Obviously, Mullen's still fighting in for a great result through the fourth inning. You'd just like to see that Tuscarora offense give her some relief, because as Mullen retires these hitters so quickly, they're going to see her again and again and again without some offense from the Tuscarora Huskies.
Kayla Dunkerley, the center fielder, on now. Runner on at first is Lexi Schaff. Mullen gonna let it fly, pops up a bunt. Johnny on the spot. Olivia Bruns says not today. Way to play it by Bruns. And the pop out to the third baseman will end any potential threat in the top of the fourth. Mullen gave up a walk, but nothing else to be had. Vikings leave a woman stranded. It's still 1-0 Tuscarora as we head to the middle of the fourth. We're halfway home in this one. We're halfway through it in this one. In the home side of the fourth, leading off for Tuscarora, it's Grace Petruzzi, the shortstop.
And I do have a little bit something else to add. Over on the other side of Leesburg, your Huskies are currently playing the defending district champion, Heritage Pride. And your Huskies are currently up 1-0 in the fifth inning. So going to be a little bit interesting how that plays out. Tuscarora did beat them twice in the regular season, one being a 10-zip win. So that game's a big question mark. No, there's a lot of more, how do I explain this? Just a lot more into that game because of how close they are, how intertwined the schools are, like you were saying during the baseball broadcast, Ronan. So it's going to be an interesting one to fully play out.
As two straight breaking balls resulted in a ball, but Valenti makes the adjustment in there for strike one and a 2-1 count for Petruzzi, who is responsible technically for the lone run Tuscarora has on the board. A hit by pitch with the bases locked and loaded. All the way back in the first. Valenti, same pitch, same result, strike two. A 2-2 count in the early going for Petruzzi. Only one strikeout for Valenti today. It's been a lot of the soft contact. Is that ball down and away, and Petruzzi works the full count. And Ronan, as you alluded to in the top of the fourth, if you're the Husky, you kind of want some separation as that one's tapped up and foul. To take the pressure off Lindsey Mullen in the circle.
Exactly, and especially how this Tuscarora offense normally operates. You see a lot of mercy rules throughout the season. Obviously, that would be in the fifth inning. But if you're the Tuscarora Huskies, you want to start to get this offense rolling, give some relief to your pitcher, Lindsey Mullen, who currently has, 11 retired, 9 strikeouts?
Is that, I believe, as Petruzzi goes down swinging for the first out of the bottom of the fourth. Second strikeout of the evening for Maya Valenti. Next up, Hannah Schmidl. Popped one out towards first, her last at bat. Lets that first pitch go for a 1-0 count. Lindy kicks, fires that one. Return to sender, back up the gut. Diving play, throw is not in time, they say. It was a great read by Maddie Green to get in front of the ball, sliding on her knees. The throw, they say, not in time. Draws the ire of the Vikings faithful, but nevertheless, it will go down as a 1-out single for Hannah Schmidl.
And as a great play as that was for Maddie Green, making the throw from her knees behind second base, tie does go to the runner. And I think that's a great call.
So I have this tracked correctly. That would be only the second or third hit for either team tonight, as Tuscarora is the only one that's getting them. Throw down to first is not in time. On the first pitch that approaches Olivia Bruns, it's a 1-0 count. Grounded out to short her last at bat. Tuscarora Huskies 61 steals this season, as Bruns shows bunt, called strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. And 1 runner on at first in Hannah Schmidl. Valenti kicks, fires. That one going to be tapped foul all the way back to the right. Strike 2. It'll be a 1-2 count for Olivia Bruns, the third baseman. She made a nice play to end the inning on a pop out in the top of the 4th. That 1-2 is going to be slapped and fouled, just barely. A few inches right of the baseline.
That was just
a 1-2
so
count.
close up that first baseline, Aiden. Olivia, you could see just by the way she was turning tail, she thought she might be able to work an extra base off that one.
Nearly gave it a fresh coat of paint. 1-2 pitch is going to be slapped on a chopper towards third. Pump fake to second. Throw to first is instead in time. So Tanner passes up to the potential to turn the double play, and instead the fielder's choice will push Hannah Schmidl to second on the Bruns ground out.
Now for the Huskies, playing behind the dish, it's Mackenzie Freeze.
As Mackenzie Freeze, the catcher and 9-spot hitter for the Huskies, on now. Tuscarora hasn't had a base runner on since the second.
And I believe, Aiden, that's the first runner in scoring position since the second as well. Excuse me, is the first.
Yep, that is right. First runner in scoring position since the first inning. A 1-0 count now for Freeze. Is that ball just at the top of the zone, and a 2-0 count for Freeze. Now you start to think, if Freeze can get on base, then you've got the top of the order due up for Tuscarora.
And you can imagine if she gets on base, it's going to leave Hannah Schmidl at third.
As that one called strike 3, throw down to second is barely not in time. I don't think Bruns was anticipating, not Bruns, Schmidl, I don't know if she was anticipating the throw to come, but is safe. A 2-1 count for Freeze. Now the riser is high, 3-1 count. The 2 outs down. Tuscarora still just 1 run to show for their efforts, as that one's going to be poked towards right field, and it's down. Runner gets waved around third. Here comes a throw home. Not in time. An RBI double courtesy of Mackenzie Freeze.
And that's just great stuff, Aiden, from the younger players on this Tuscarora lineup. Mackenzie Freeze, just in her first year as a starter on this Tuscarora team, coming up big for the Tuscarora Huskies in the district championship nonetheless.
Schmidl scores from second, and the new line reads 2-0 Tuscarora with 2 outs down, as Freeze put on the brakes at second.
And bouncing off what you just said, Ronan, a lot of the things people say about this Tuscarora squad is that after this class of seniors leave, this team isn't going to be nearly as good as where it once was, like this year and last year. And it will take a little bit of a drop-off, but with players like Grace Petruzzi, Mary Hackman, and Mackenzie Freeze, it's in safe hands.
Many fans and foe alike thought last season was going to be the year for the Tuscarora Huskies, obviously falling in the state championship 1-0. The Tuscarora Huskies this year trying to prove them wrong.
As Lily Wool's back up to bat for the Huskies. Third plate appearance of the day, the riser is out of the zone for ball number 1. Nothing count for Wolves as Anna Petruzzi into pinch run for her second time today. Pinch ran from Mullins back in the first, now in for Freeze. As Wolves takes that second pitch for a strike, a 1-1 count. And same pitch, same result, strike two. Pardon me, it's not Petruzzi. That is number 3, Abby Rumbaugh, the pinch runner. 1-2 count, 2 outs down, as that one's going to be skied towards right field. And a flash of the lever, the play is made by Grace Williams. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 left stranded for Tuscarora. They don't get much, but they do increase their advantage after a full 4 innings. It's 2-0 Tuscarora. We welcome you back in. 5, 6, and 7 due up for the Vikings. We'll start with some pitcher-on-pitcher violence. The lefty Valenti against the right-handed Mullen. Tuscarora nursing a 2-0 advantage. In the top of the 5th, Valenti shows bunt, fouls it back into the left for strike 1. 0 for 1 on the day is Valenti. A strikeout back in the 2nd, her lone plate appearance. Valenti, just a freshman, but has made her impact on this game, holding Tuscarora to just 2 runs through 4 full innings of work. Well, I'm going to wind up and fire that one. Going to be tapped over the head of the catcher, Freeze, and foul. An 0-2 count for Valenti. For the first time last inning, the top of the 4th, a base runner got on for the Vikings. The lone one all game, a walk by Lexi Schaff. As this one's going to be cracked towards deep right, but it's foul all the way. We'll stay in 0-2 count.
And for Lindsey Mullen and the Huskies, very fortunate that one got on the right side of that first baseline, and that one was crushed.
Mullen kicks, fires, a riser that's out of the zone, and a 1-2 count. No outs on. No runners on, pardon me. No outs either. Mullen kicks, fires. That one's going to be fouled off as well. This time to the right towards the Tuscarora dugout. Stays a 1-2 count. Valenti battling, and while no one's really seemed to completely figure out Mullen, you can still tell that they're still getting a better idea leading to these longer at-bats, even if they've gone down via the strikeout or the ground out. 1-2, there's strikeout number 10 for Mullen.
You were saying
Strike 3.
You were saying? Mullen just freezing him on the outside of the plate there on the lefty Valenti. You just love to see it, regardless of who's on the dish, or excuse me, who's at the dish, rather. What pitch needs to be thrown, what's the count? Mullen always finds a way to get the strikeout.
Abby Stern makes her second appearance of the day, the designated player. Right-handed hitter, cut and a miss, strike one.
Stern putting the shoulders through that one, Aiden.
An 0-1 count for Stern with one out on. Mullen playing with the tempo a little bit, and that one completely got away from Freeze, and I think got away from Mullen as well. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out in the top of the fifth. 2-0, Tuscarora leads it. As Cora Ely is on deck behind Stern. Mullen will let it go, and same pitch, near same result. This one did stay in front of Freeze. And a 2-1 count now for Abby Stern. Mullen lets it go, wave and a miss. That one had some rise on it right at the end. A 2-2 count now for Stern. Mullen will let it fly. Goes down swinging, does Stern. Strikeout number 11. Lindsey Mullen having herself a game.
Playing first base.
And again, Aiden, I don't know what else there is to be said. I mean, the play speaks for itself. And the Loudoun Valley Vikings, just when you think they're starting to figure it out, starting to get some lengthy at-bats, got a base runner on, Mullen just responds to 2 straight strikeouts.
The wind up the pitch, and reaching on that one was Ely. Had some juice on it to that as well. And an 0-1 count. Two outs down, both strikeouts courtesy of Mullen. Winds up. Tried to play with a bit of a drop ball there, but still came to it. It still had a lot more dropping to do in a 1-1 count. Ely, the first baseman, is 0 for 1 today. Struck out back in the third. First time at the dish today. And time will be called. A meeting of the minds in the Tuscarora infield.
And I do have news that the score is now 4-0, top of the 6th inning. Don't know how it jumped up 3 straight runs, excuse me. Still trying to figure that out. A little bit hard just through word of mouth, but I can confirm it is 4-0.
Potential for the Huskies to sweep the district championship in the Dulles District. And that one popped up foul. Mullins, all she has to do is stick out her glove. She is done. She is doing almost all of it today. The pop out straight to her on the bunt.
And I think Mullen might be fine playing just by herself in the outfield. I mean, you at least send Lillian Shiver, maybe just sit at the dugout, get a chair up there maybe in center field. I don't know what needs to be done, but Lindsey Mullen just throwing, just shoving.
3 up, 3 down for the 4th time today. Go the Vikings, still 2-0. Tuscarora heading to the middle of the 5th with 2, 3, and 4 due up for them come the bottom of the 5th. We bring you into the bottom of the 5th of the evening's action as the sun begins to dip behind the rolling hills of Leesburg, Virginia. 2-0 Tuscarora leads it as leading off the bottom of the 5th, Mary Hackman, the first baseman. reached on an error in the first and then popped one out in the second. Instead, she slaps this one deep to left center on the run, and making the play is Dunkerley.
The ball was hit well from Hackman, obviously, and we were talking about it earlier, prone to getting those extra base hits. However, good play there and good awareness. The shift worked this time in center field for Dunkerley as she's able to corral that one standing up.
And Lillian Scheibert, her third plate appearance, looking to have a different result. She's 0 for 2 today, a fly out in the first and a ground out in the third. Takes the first offering from Valenti. It's down and away.
And Scheibert, a great hitter, obviously committed to the Delaware University to continue her athletic career. She's hitting just below 400 this year with 28 hits, 20 RBIs.
As she pokes that one into right center, right over the head of the second baseman. It's a one-out single for Lily Scheibert.
And good to see her getting the ball rolling here for these Tuscarora Huskies. The offense, not the same level that it normally is at in the Dulles district. Obviously, Valenti is one of the more elite pitchers in this district, Aiden, but you would still like to see hitters like Scheibert, Hackman start to get going a little bit more and try to put some runs around the bases.
Audrey Stell, the right fielder, on now. She pokes one in nearly the same spot, and instead this time it's gloved by the right fielder deep in right field by Grace Williams, and there's out number 2 of the inning.
The Tuscarora Huskies starting to time up Valenti here, their third time through the order. And you just got to think, Aiden, Lindsey Mullen seeing this pitcher for the third time today.
Lindsey Mullen, 0 for 1 today. Intentionally walked back in the first, grounded out in the third. He's hit some bombs the last 2 times these two squads met up. Accepts the first pitch, off the plate, 1-0 the count.
And Mullen certainly looking to put one over the fence, Aiden. Just 4 home runs away from breaking the Tuscarora single-season home run record.
As swung at that one, tipped off the end of the bat, so strike one either way. Scheibert not a strong leadoff at first.
She doesn't need it.
17 stolen bases to her credit this season. 1-1 count, 2 outs. Mullen belts one to deep right and dropped. What are they going to say? It's fair. Scheibert rounding third. Mullen bound for second, and she'll hold up there. Lindsey Mullen said corner pocket, and it brings across the third run of the day for the Huskies.
And that's just such a close call down that first baseline, Aiden. Fortunately for the Tuscarora Huskies, the call goes in their favor. And Mullen thought she got that one over the fence and then realized the right fielder, Williams, had a play on it down almost into foul territory. But it just drops outside the glove. It was a tough play to make, moving too hard left.
As this will spur a conversation, Mike Elias, I have to imagine, saying that's a foul ball to the home umpire. Can't imagine the way Valenti's played if her day might be done just yet. And again, it looked like it landed right in that as far as an extreme corner you can get in deep right field. And that's a moment where you just got to look at the officials and see what hand sign goes up. Lily Scheibert was already halfway to third base by the time everyone could really tell what was happening.
Yeah, that's just a tough call to make for any official, especially you're turned around. And just right, I saw the ball literally come right in front of the pole from our vantage point. It looked foul to me at first, and then umpire pointed fair, and you could even see in Mullen and Scheibert both took a second, waited for the call, and then continued around the bases.
So the new score reads 3-0 Tuscarora with 2 outs down, 1 runner on in the top of the 5th. Valenti stays in the circle.
Now batting for the Huskies.
As Anna Petruzzi, as she did back in the first, comes into pinch run for Mullen at second. Grace Petruzzi looking to bring the other Petruzzi across, shows bunt, goes through it, called strike one. Here comes the throw down to second. That will be off the plate, and it got away from Dunkerley. And Petruzzi's into third. She's getting waved around third. Throw home, not in time. An errant throw down to second, and Anna Petruzzi showing off the wheels scores from second. It's 4-0 Tuscarora.
And just a self-inflicted wound there from the Vikings. Started to get something going. Obviously, Lindsey Mullen puts that one. The Tuscarora hitters starting to heat up, and you just can't afford to do that, especially in the district championship game with so much on the line.
Huskies have now plated 2 this inning, as Grace Petruzzi takes that next pitch for ball 1.
So Braden Kelman, the savior for the Huskies, bases loaded, hits a nice double and sends them all home.
So a bases clearing double for the Tuscarora Huskies baseball catcher Braden Kelman, coming up big in that Dulles District Championship just on the other side of Route 7. So as we were talking about earlier, possibly a sweep for the Huskies, knock on wood.
As Petruzzi slaps that pitch towards the shortstop. A 6-3 ground out, but nevertheless, the Huskies bring across 2 in the form of an RBI double, and then Petruzzi advances to third on an error and then steals her way home. It's 4-0 Tuscarora after a full 5 innings of work. As we're back for the top of the 6th inning, Tuscarora plated 2 in the 5th to make it a 4-0 advantage. It'll be 8-9-1 due up for the Vikings. And you talk about how the team, the offense, getting the pitcher some insurance. Lindsey Mullins said, I'll get it myself, essentially, with how that sequence went. She had the double to score Shivert, and then her pinch runner from second brought across the 4th run.
I mean, as of right now, Aiden, only 4 players on this Tuscarora outfield have touched the ball. That's second baseman Lindsey Mullen, the first baseman, the shortstop, and obviously the catcher.
As bunt laid down, throw to first is there.
And the streak still continues, Aiden.
And that is just a clinical sequence for the Huskies, as you had Hackman running up from first to field the ball, and then Wolves coming all the way over from second to get the out at first.
Now for the Vikings, playing second, Ana Ramos.
1 out down as Ana Ramos, the second baseman, back up, is 0 for 1 today. Tried to go through the bunt and called strike 1. It was a 1-3 ground out for Ramos back in the 3rd. It was the first out of the evening for the Vikings that wasn't a strikeout. Has some discussion now between Mike Elias, Ramos, and Tanner, who is on deck.
I thought she offered. I thought she went. That's why I put it strike, but I don't know.
0-1 count to Ramos. Shows bunt yet again. It's there. It's down. Mullins scoops it. Throw to first. Not in time. A 1-out single, and that takes away the possibility of a no-hitter.
And that's just so tough, Aiden. You know, Coach Elias playing those mind games, throwing all those bunts down just to do the one thing, and that's break up the no-hitter. Just doesn't want to be no-hit in this Dulles District Championship, and you can't really fault the guy for it.
Only the second time a base runner is on. Bunt yet again, and that one, they're going to say it hit Tanner, and now she'll get on the hit by pitch. So the first time.
A little bit of conversation there, Aiden. Many feeling that that shouldn't be a base as Sloan Tanner turned into that one.
As next up, it'll be Maddie Green, the shortstop, who's 0 for 2 on the day. And a couple of firsts for the Vikings here in the 6th inning. First hit of the day. First time two base runners have been on. First time a runner's been on scoring position, and some discussion between Mike Elias and the home umpire here.
I think he's probably arguing that one was intentional from Lindsey Mullen, giving up the no-hitter off a bunt designed to break up the no-hitter in the next batter's hit by pitch. I would imagine that's what that conversation is being had.
So 2 runners on now for the Vikings. Ramos at second and Tanner at first. Next up, Matty Green with 1 out down. Mullen kicks, fires. Can't carve the plate. Ball 1. A 1-0 count for Green. Mullins lets it fly. That one tapped foul back into the fence. 1-1 count with 1 out.
You could feel the energy from that Viking dugout slowly starting to build here, Aiden, in this top of the 6th inning.
That's another thing. Tuscarora has pretty much had this game in control, but still a 4-0 lead is not something to be comfortable with.
Same sequence, same result. Tapped back to near the same spot for a foul ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Some conversation between Mullen and her infielders here in a big sequence in the top of the 6th. Lets it fly on the 1-2. That one's lofted and playable over towards first. It's gloved for the out. No checkup comes and a big second out. Mary Hackman will get credit for that play there. As Green flies out into foul territory. And as I was just saying, pretty big second out given the circumstance.
Definitely take a sigh of relief to the Tuscarora Huskies here, but job is still not finished. Runners on second and first.
Lexi Schaap, the catcher, on now. 0 for 1 today with a walk. Takes the first pitch well off the plate. Ball 1 away from the right-handed Schaap. And a stat that does make your eyes pop, a home run in each of her 2 playoff games this year. Faces the 1-0 at the moment. Make that a 1-1 in the bucket on that pitch from Mullen. 1-1 count with 2 outs, 2 runners on. Mullen in one of the lone instances she's had to work her way around some base runners today. 1-1 delivery, wave and a miss on the riser.
And you just got to love the swagger from Lindsey Mullen there, pointing back at her catcher, Fries.
And similar to, if you listen into our baseball broadcast the other day, I would think it's the same instance with Valley. Tuscarora, they're the 1 seed overall, so Valley already has a regional spot locked up.
They do, Aiden. Same as last year. The Tuscarora Huskies, as I said at the beginning of this broadcast, beat the Loudoun Valley Vikings in the district and regional tournament and almost went on to play them in the state tournament. However, the Vikings fell, so that triple elimination playoffs we see now in VHSL doing the work for the Vikings.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The most recent one slapped up into the right by Schaaf. As the Vikings base runners getting antsy. Again, Ramos at second and Tanner at first. A bunt single and a hit by pitch brings us here. Mullen, the 2-2 is tapped off foul to the right. So Schaaf staying alive in this at-bat and protecting the plate well. Was the first base runner for the Vikings today when she yielded a 2-out walk in the 4th. 2-2 pitch as off the plate, a wild pitch, and that will push up the runners. Freeze just couldn't stop it. And so Ramos advances to third and Tanner to second. First time a Viking has touched third base today.
And you just got to think now, Aiden, it's never been more truer for the Tuscarora Huskies. That bend, don't break mentality needs to be demonstrated here. Lindsey Mullen needs to get some composure here and get this last strike across the plate.
As that brings on a full count with 2 outs, but mind you, 2 base runners on, a walk with Loudoun. and bring the tying run to the dish. 4-0 Tuscarora lead with 2 outs. Mullen kicks, fires, swing and a miss. Mullen works her way out of a thick jam, and the runners are left stranded. How about the stones on that sequence from Lindsey Mullen?
And just throwing the off speed there at the very end, Aiden. That one was not in the zone, just knew Schaff was going to swing, and you just got to love the swagger and the intensity coming from the Tuscarora Huskies at this point.
An emphatic 12th strikeout for Mullen as she leaves 2 Vikings stranded and works her way out of a dramatic top of the 6th inning. Still 4-0 Huskies as we head to the middle of the 6th. 7, 8, 9 due up for them when we come back. To the bottom of the 6th we go as Hannah Schmidl set to lead off. Maya Valenti still in the circle for the Vikings as here comes the windup and the pitch. Bit of a curveball is there for strike 1. And Sean, you have some news for us.
The Tuscarora Huskies baseball team are going to regions for what time is it now? They've gone to region before, correct?
Second time in a row.
Oh, they did go last year. I keep getting that year mixed up.
First district championship, I believe, in
has to be a while.
My high school career, if there's ever been one. The Tuscarora Huskies entering only their 13th year as a school, so you just got to think history to be made on the other diamond on the other side of Leesburg.
As the 0-2 Schmidl returned to send her up the gut, and a leadoff single for Hannah Schmidl.
And the Tuscarora Huskies here just fighting, doing just enough to keep the Vikings off.
Second hit for Schmidl on the day. As back to the dish comes Olivia Bruns, who is 0 for 2 today, a couple of ground outs.
Olivia Bruns.
So Tuscarora already takes the dish as Bruns tries to lay down a bunt, bounces off the plate and behind Lexi Schaff. So the Huskies already take the district in one diamond sport today, and they're a couple half innings away from repeating the act in softball.
And I also don't want to jinx it, but the final score of that Heritage game was 4-0.
The Tuscarora Huskies just 3 outs away from this one, Aiden.
It's like poetry that they rhyme. As that one sent back up the gut as well, just north of second base. 2 straight singles for the Huskies. Olivia Bruns gets in on the action. 2 base runners on and no outs. As Mackenzie Freeze to the dish. She's 1 for 2 today. An RBI single for her back in the RBI double, pardon me, for her back in the 4th inning, as this could potentially be the end of Maya Valenti's day as Mike Elias, after 2 quick hits in succession, a meeting in the circle. And it looks like that will be the end of Valenti's day, over 5 full innings of work. And you should be proud of the effort she put forth today against a very strong Tuscarora core.
Yeah, I mean, in the Valenti, a freshman coming up against one of the best teams in the state, currently ranked 4 in the class 4A, and I think that might be a little low, Aiden, if we're being completely honest. You just got to think, coming out here in a big rivalry game that this is, and showing out the way she did. Giving up 4 runs to many teams might seem like not that good of an outing, but against the Tuscarora Huskies, you could be very confident with that. However, when the opposing pitcher was on perfect game and no hitter watch for most of her performance today, you just got to think. I don't think this loss, if it stands up to being a 4-0 or more loss, I don't think that stands up to be on Valenti's shoulders.
Only 2 strikeouts, 3 of the 4 runs on the board earned, but she did what she needed to do. Forced a lot of soft contact, a lot of groundouts, a lot of pop-outs. Did what she needed to stymie the Huskies, at least until as of late they really, I wouldn't say figured her out, but kind of started to put the pieces together, as it looks like the new face in the circle for the Vikings will be number 6, Ava Lomelin, the pitcher / first baseman, and a junior, a right-handed pitcher. As we get set to continue here, Schmidl sits at second for Tuscarora, Bruns at first.
All right, here we go, Huskies. Batting now for the Huskies, it's Mackenzie Freeze.
It's Mackenzie Freeze to the dish, as we were just saying, 1 for 2 today, an RBI double in the 4th. Aided in giving the Huskies some cushion, I lost the word, as she bunts the first one off. Not breathing room, insurance. Insurance was the word I was looking for. An 0-1 count for Freeze.
I guess it all means the same thing at the end of the day, right?
It does.
One of those synonym things.
I just love insurance. That's like my favorite term for it. She shows bunt yet again. Ball goes down the pipes for, I believe they call it, yes, it went too low, so ball 1. And again, you're kind of forcing the third and short players to play up in potential of a bunch. Schmidl in her leadoff was already halfway to third. Bunt a third time, and this one can't corral it in a hurry, does Schaff, and stealing her way into third is Hannah Schmidl. Schaff kept it in front of her, but just couldn't scoop it in time to throw to third. So it'll be a 2-1 count, and Bruns moves up to second as well. So both runners in scoring position for the Huskies now, and a 2-1 count for Mackenzie Freeze.
Not sure what the conversation is. Elias just Coach
threw
Elias
through
the clipboard.
That was a textbook clipboard throw right there.
And now Elias coming to chat with the umpire. He's done this a couple times today.
And this has been the 4th or 5th chat between the behind-the-plate umpire and Coach Elias. And you can see the smiles from some of the base runners and players on the field, as well as the third base coach of the Tuscarora Huskies. You just got to like the position you're in if you're wearing black and blue in this ballpark.
Up 4-0 in the top of the 6th. Both base runners in scoring position with no outs down, and the top of the order due up.
And the other team's coach is throwing his clipboard.
And Tuscarora only 2 losses on the season, but none of them have come in district play. A 2-1 count for Freeze. Looking to add to this 4-0 advantage. It's the windup, the pitch, off the plate, got away from the catcher, and the runner from third will score. Schmidl scores on the wild pitch. It's 5-0 Tuscarora, and Bruns scoots her way into third. An insult to injury, a 3-1 count for Freeze. Comes the windup, the pitch, that one tapped behind foul for strike 2, and it's a full count. Ava Lumlin asked to come in a tough spot to try and give the Vikings a fighting chance for the top of the 7th. Here comes the windup, the pitch. That one's going to be popped up into the right in foul territory. Play is made at first. The runner will hold at third. So Bruns doesn't get the chance to tag up as Freeze pops it out towards first base.
I would just like to mention, sorry to cut you off, Aiden. We are having a couple of internet difficulties with our scoreboard, so if the scoreboard is a little behind on the broadcast, I do apologize. Should be up and running now, however.
Lily Wolves takes the first offering for strike 1. Lone base runner on for Tuscarora, and it's Olivia Bruns at third. Still only 1 out down, so still plenty of room to do some damage for Tuscarora.
And Wolves towards the end of the season, has 6 home runs on the year, 5 away from breaking that record. Mullen has got her by 1 for the team leader.
Breaking ball up and away, a 1-1 count with 1 out. Wolves singled in the first. Reached on an error in the second and flew out in the fourth. Lomlin lets it be. That ball had some weird movement on it, but it was low all the way. A 2-1 count for Lily Wolves. Lomlin kicks, fires a riser that's up and out, and a 3-1 count now for Lily Wolves. Big opportunity here for the Huskies to not close the door on it completely, but certainly give themselves plenty of room to work with, and it's a 1-out walk for Lily Wolves, and that puts runners on the corners. As up trots Mary Hackman, 0 for 2 on the day. The lone time she got on the base path was an error back in the first when she lofted it to center field.
Mary Hackman.
And Hackman's put 2 right up into center field. And starting to time up was on Valenti now, obviously, with the new pitcher in the circle. See when Mary Hackman can get done from the dish.
Ava Lomlin, in one of her more complete actions this season, had a 5.83 ERA against the Dominion Titans. As Hackman takes the first pitch of the at-bat for a ball. One 1-0 count for Hackman. Wolves at first, Bruns at third. She shows bunt. Bruns will hold at third. Throw to first is no, not in time. The first baseman dropped it, and the runner scores. Bruns scores. Oh, they're going to call Hackman out at first. I think they're going to say the collision when she stepped on first caused the ball to pop out. So no run for the Huskies. Bruns will retreat back to third, and Wolves will have to retake her position at first. So likely called runner interference on Mary Hackman. Has had a tough angle on it. Hackman, it looked like she would have been... Looked like she potentially would have been safe as Ely dropped the ball, but again, it looks like the umpire potentially called runner interference. Lily Shivert up with 2 outs down as she slaps that one into right, but foul.
Had me a little bit excited there with that one.
Every time Shivert makes contact with the with the softball, the energy in the ballpark seems to come up just a little bit extra.
An 0-1 count for Shivert. Lomlin stepped in after 2 straight singles for the Huskies to start the inning, but so far she's managed to limit the damage to only 1 run. Run likely won't be tagged to her as that ball down and away and makes it a 1-1 count for Lily Shivert. Not even a full 2 hours eclipsed in this game so far as the lights are on now, but still plenty of sunlight out. A beautiful summer day. A Shivert trying to give the third baseline a new coat of paint, but it bounces off to the left foul. Makes it strike 2. One-two count for Lily Shivert. She's 1 of 2 on the day. Flew out to start her day, grounded out in the third, and then singled in the 5th. Was later scored courtesy of Lindsey Mullen. Trying to defend the plate here and keep the inning alive. Runners on the corners. 1-2 count, 2 outs. Breaking ball that's well on top of the zone. Rising to her feet to grab it is Schaff. 2-2 count.
And one over the fence, Aiden will end the game.
The wind up the pitch. That one send right back up the middle. 1 run will score. Wolves puts on the brakes at second. An RBI single from Lily Shivert. And it's 6-0 Huskies. And Tuscarora, as they can do and do often, just content to ride the merry-go-round. Audrey Stell, the right fielder, back at it now. Move 2 on the day is that one up and away. Another one that nearly got away from Schaff. Have to imagine the runners are moving up if it gets behind her. Lily Wool's at second. Lily Scheibert at first. Second straight at bat with a hit for Lily Scheibert. She's now 2 of 4 on the evening. Estelle lets it go and be called ball 2. 2-0 count with 2 outs, a 6-0 Tuscarora lead.
And you'd love for Stell to get on base here, give Lindsey Mullen a chance with bases loaded to end the game.
And she'll have a chance to do it. It's a 3-0 hitters count after that pitch. With 2 outs down.
You got to think for the Vikings, you got to get Audrey Stell out here.
Lohman kicks, fires. Drop ball in the bucket for strike 1 and a 3-1 count. Stell looking to potentially add to this 6-0 advantage. Still a hitter's count, 3-1. Lomlin wheels, deals, off the plate, it's a walk. A 2-out walk from Stell. Bases locked and loaded for Mullen. And you can't walk her because that'll bring across a run.
I mean, you could.
Wolves at third, Scheibert at second, and now Stell at first for Lindsey Mullen, who in her last at-bat roped an RBI double.
One that would have hit off the back wall.
And it looks like, are they going to walk her? They will. They intentionally walk Lindsey Mullen, and Lily Wool scores.
That Barry Bonds treatment, Aiden.
So does Lindsey Mullen get credit for that RBI? I need to know. Yeah. All right, give Mullen an RBI. She's got 2 on the day.
And you just got to like the mind games between 2 rivals, Aiden. They just the last thing he could get, trying to get the last laugh, are the Loudoun Valley Vikings. And you gotta like it. But if you're Lindsey Mullen, I'm sure you'd like to take a swing to end the game.
So Grace Petruzzi to the dish. 0 for 2 on the day, had a hit by pitch to bring in the first run of the game with the bases loaded in a similar situation as that one nearly got away from Schaff. She's done a great job staying on it for the most part. Has had a couple that got away from her. And Mike Elias trying out to have a chat with Ava Lomlin as if Petruzzi can get on base and bring across another run, Tuscarora is completely batted through the order this inning.
Yeah, and that would also end the game, Aiden. The mercy rule after 5 is 8-0. So you got to think for the Tuscarora Huskies, and especially more so Grace Petruzzi, they brought an intentional walk. And now you bring up you to play. You got to feel a little disrespected if I'm Grace Petruzzi, you know what I mean? Let's see what I could get done here.
Tuscarora to win the district as they did last season. Petruzzi puts that one through the gap. Scheibert scores, and it's a walk-off winner. No, here comes the throw to the plate. She scores as well. It is 9-0 Tuscarora. Grace Petruzzi, we thought that could have been the walk-off. A 2 RBI double for Grace Petruzzi.
My only thought, Aiden, is in the championship game, does the mercy rule not come into effect until the next inning?
That's what I'm pretty sure it's that, Ronan.
As Hannah Schmidl, her second at-bat of the inning. Lily Scheibert scores. Audrey Stell scores. Oh, no, pardon me. Anna Petruzzi scores as that one's lofted into shallow left for the 3rd out. And that will do it for the inning. 4 hits, 2 runs come across for the Huskies. Pardon me. Yep, 4 hits. 4 hits, 4 runs come across for Tuscarora after the bottom of the 6th. What a wild inning that was.
Yeah, Aiden, I'm not sure still why this game is still being played. Lily Wool's up to the pitching circle, ready to get going. So we're being told it is 10 for the district championship is the mercy rule, not the standard 8 that we see in the regular season in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs.
Lily Scheibert was scored. Audrey Stell, I believe, was scored. Petruzzi was pushed into third. Anna Petruzzi pushed into third. Grace Petruzzi was at second during that sequence. They were going all gas, no brakes at the end of that inning. It was hard for me to keep track of what was going on, but the Huskies 3 outs away from a district championship. When we come back, 9-0 Tuscarora. We're back for the top of the 7th. Lily Wool's on to finish this one out for the Huskies. First pitch is down and away from Kayla Dunkerling to lead off the 7th. It's 9-0 Huskies. After a flurry of runs came across in the bottom of the 6th. Wolves kicks, fires, wave and a miss. As Briley Bass moves in to take Wolves' position at second. 1-1 count for 1-1 count for Dunkerling, and it's going to be a 2-1. Off of that pitch, so Lindsey Mullen ends her day 6 full innings of work, only 1 hit surrendered, 1 hit by pitch, 1 walk, and 12 strikeouts. What a day for Mullen.
You see, for any normal pitcher, that would be an amazing day. But for someone to her high standards, that's just another day in the office.
As check swing and Dunkerley went. It's a 2-2 count now for Dunkerley. Two delivery, swing and a miss. It's a drop third strike, easy as you like, play to first. And Wolves will get her first strikeout of the evening. And Tuscarora 2 outs away. And if this one holds, it would be the 8th shutout of the year for the Tuscarora Huskies. They're second against the Vikings.
And the Tuscarora Huskies have just had a stranglehold on this Dulles District 8, and we're looking at a possible three-peat here. More likely than not a three-peat. But crazier things have happened in sports.
Maya Valenti, pitcher who started this game, will take the first one for a ball of 1-0 count. As I was saying, Lindsey Mullen, 6 full innings of work, 12 strikeouts, only 1 hit, 1 ball, and 1 hit by pitch. 2 balls, actually. That ball down and away, 2-0 count.
So.
Oh, nope, I was right. 1 ball, one hit, 1 hit by pitch.
I can confirm that Brendan Cowan threw a no-hitter against Heritage in the district finals.
Wow, so you got to see the Virginia Tech commit coming up big from the mound for the Tuscarora Huskies, and the Louisville commit coming up big here in the pitching circle for those same Tuscarora Huskies.
As a 2-0 delivery from Wolves is fouled off right for strike 1 for Valenti, a 2-1 count. 0 for 2 on the day. She struck out both plate appearances. Tuscarora 2 outs away from their 3rd straight Dulles District title. Is that ball down the pipes for strike 2? I don't know if they call it a ball, so a 3-1 count for Valenti. Chance for her to become only the 4th base runner for the Vikings this evening. 3-1 count with 1 out. Wolves lets it fly. That one's going to be smacked to right to Lily Shivert. No, not Lily Shivert. Check that. Briley Bass in place of Lily Wolves for out number 2.
And the Tuscarora Huskies infield has done a lot right this evening, Aiden. The outfield hasn't had any work on defense tonight, but the infield, specifically second base and shortstop, has seen quite a bit of action.
Abby Stern on to keep the game alive for the Vikings. 0 of 2 on the day, both strikeouts. Wolves kicks, fires, that one a chopper, gloved by Bass, throw to first, it's there, and there's your ball game. The Tuscarora Huskies pitch their second shutout of the Vikings on the season. They win at 9-0, and they are Dulles District champions for the 3rd straight season in a row.
And the Tuscarora Huskies yet again coming up big when it matters. The Vikings, however, their season's not done. They will continue to go on into the regional tournament as the 2nd seed from the 4th seed division. They will play the number 1 seed of the Northwestern. The Tuscarora Huskies will go on to play Sharando here. And you just got to think, Aiden, both of these teams have been great all year. And if history repeats itself, it's likely that we will see these same Vikings at this same ballpark next week.
And again, just look at who we got to work with here. Lindsey Mullen, we're going to say it one more time, 12 strikeouts on the day, 1 hit by pitch, 1 walk, the 1 bunt single that kind of took away the potential for a no-hitter, but I don't think she cares. I'm pretty sure she's just happy with a big win today.
And to be fair, obviously it's a hypothetical, but if you got to think if Coach Elias of the Vikings wasn't trying to break up that no-hitter and they stayed on their same game plan, very well could have been one for Lindsey Mullen.
At the very least, a combined no-hitter if they still bring on Lily Wolves to finish the deed in the 7th inning. And then just a couple players to highlight here. Lily Shivert started today 0 for 2, but bit back in a big way in the 5th and 6th. 2 of 4 on the day, an RBI. Lindsey Mullen, 2 intentional walks, an RBI double, and then an RBI intentional walk. You don't see that very often in a bases-loaded situation. 3 RBIs on the day for Grace Petruzzi, a hit by pitch on a bases-loaded situation in the 1st, and then her 2 RBI double in the 6th. So plenty of accolades to go around for this Tuscarora team on their victory tonight.
Exactly, and as we said earlier in the broadcast, many fans and non-fans in this district and around this state thought it was the Tuscarora Huskies' year last year, and the margins were so fine, Aiden. That 1-0 loss, for those who weren't there or do not recall, it was Lillian Shivert put the bat in play for the go-ahead RBI to tie the game up, struck the runner moving from first to second base, and that is what ended the Tuscarora Huskies state championship run in the final inning of play. So you just got to think the Tuscarora Huskies coming to this one, not those favorites, have that chip on their shoulder, Aiden, and now thus far continuing on that same trajectory they were on last year.
Maya Valenti of the Vikings gave it a good effort, did as much as she could for the Vikings to give them a chance, but ultimately sturdy Tuscarora defense and timely hits for them, especially on the back half of this one, get the job done. I believe, Tuesday they'll face? Tuesday they'll face Sharando in their first game in regional play. But for now, Dulles District champions for the 3rd year in a row, the Tuscarora Huskies. I'm Aidan Butler, joined by Sean Pambuki and Ronan Haycoop. The Huskies get it done, 9-0 over the Loudoun Valley Vikings. This has been a presentation of Tuscarora Sports.